Dirty dealings, corporate battles, consumer wars. This is Evening 5. Rakuten Trade has raised its year-end target for the benchmark FBM KLCI to 1,730 points, driven by an influx of FDI in data centers, better corporate earnings and improved domestic liquidity. Rakuten Head of Research Kenny Yishipin also noted Putrajaya's request for government-linked investment companies to reduce overseas investments and focus on the domestic market acts as a significant catalyst for the local bourse. The top 6 GLICs collectively manage close to 1.9 trillion ringgit. Assuming 10 to 15% of this amount is invested in foreign equities, Yi said a 10% clawback of the foreign portion could bring about 20 billion ringgit to 30 billion ringgit back into the local market. He said that trading volume has improved of late and may be a prelude to an exciting development within the local stock market, noting that the year-to-date average daily volume of 4.6 billion shares has surpassed the 10-year average of 3.8 billion shares. Meanwhile, corporate earnings are seen growing 16.1% this year. As for Rakuten's top sector picks, its equity research vice president Tong Pak Ling listed banking, construction, technology, telecommunications and power and utilities. On the local currency, Rakuten expects the ringgit to strengthen to around 4.5 to 4.55 against the US dollar by end 2024. At today's close, the FBM KLCI climbed 7.58 points or 0.47% to a 3-year high of 1,633.54. Human Resources Minister Stephen Sim Chi Keong said HRD Corp has withdrawn a letter of demand sent to the Edge Communications for alleged defamation in reports on the findings of the PAC and the Auditor General. Sim told a press conference today that he had instructed the agency to retract the said letter upon learning of the matter and stressed that he disagreed with HRD Corp's action. He said HRD's move went against his principle to uphold the freedom of the press and voiced his gratitude to the PAC for criticising the agency. PAC chairperson Datuk Mas Ermiyati Samsudin had in a press conference earlier today expressed shock upon learning of HRD Corp's move and called on its board of directors to be held accountable for the threat. She also urged HRD Corp to cease intimidating journalists and media outlets and said the actions potentially undermine the credibility of the PAC, whose reports have never been disputed since its establishment in 1959. She highlighted that this was the case even during the probe into MOF Inc.-owned 1MDB, noting that measures have in fact been taken by the ministry to rectify the issues, including reclaiming 1MDB's investment assets. The Dewan Rakyat has approved 5 amendment bills, paving the way for Island 1 in Iskandar Putri's Forest City to become a duty-free zone, joining the ranks of Labuan, Langkawi, Tioman and Pangkor. The 5 bills covering amendments to customs, excise, free zones, sales tax and service tax laws were approved via a voice vote after being presented for the second and third readings by Deputy Finance Minister Lim Hui Ying. During the debate on the Customs Amendment Bill 2024, Pasir Gudang MP Hassan Abdul Karim said the move could revive Forest City, boosting the property market and the local economy and helping it shed its ghost city label. However, he questioned whether Forest City, a massive land reclamation project, can be defined as an island. He also called on the National Land Council, the federal government and the Johor State Administration to address the issue of freehold status for properties in Forest City, particularly those purchased by foreign nationals. He noted that properties in Forest City are granted freehold status, including those purchased by foreign buyers, granting them indefinite ownership. In contrast, he said Malaysians buy properties that are leasehold, expiring after a maximum of 90 years, which he deemed unfair. In her winding-up speech, Lim responded that the matter was not under the purview of the Finance Ministry, but pledged to convey this perspective to the relevant parties. The prosecution has again failed to forfeit 2 properties purportedly linked to 1MDB assets from fugitive businessman Low Taek Joe's sister Low Mei Lin. A 3-member Court of Appeal bench today dismissed an appeal by the prosecution to forfeit the 2 properties, which include a condo in Jalan Kiaping in Kuala Lumpur, as well as other assets worth more than 2 million ringgit. Judge Dato Ahmad Zaidi Ibrahim, who chaired the bench, said there are no merits in the appeal and no appealable error. He said the bench agrees with the findings of the High Court that there is no money trail to show that the properties were funded by illegal proceeds, nor any substantial link between Mei Lin and the properties with the predicate and more serious offence of criminal breach of trust. The bench did, however, leave it to the prosecution to decide on whether it wants to seize cash money of some 125,462 ringgit and the 26 bottles of alcoholic beverages that were retrieved from one of the properties. Penang-based property developer Ewein announced today that its shares will be traded under its new name Skygate Solutions effective this Friday. The naming change comes after the restructuring exercise at Ewein, which saw Ewein Leong emerging as its largest shareholder in June 2023, after bumping up his stake from 3.84% to 43.82%. Ewein, who's also the MD and major shareholder of ACE market-listed Nationgate Holdings, now holds a 42.21% stake in Ewein. Nationgate Corporate Services Director Teh Seng Chew had previously told The Edge about Ewein's intention to rename the company as part of an agreement with the previous controlling shareholder of the group, that the Ewein name can no longer be used and that the Ewe family no longer wants to run the business. Property development aside, Ewein also manufactures and designs precision sheet metal molds, tools, dies and fabricated parts, which are used in electrical and electronics equipment, and also precision plastic injection molding products and product finishing. Shares in Ewein settled 3.3% higher at RM1.25 today, valuing the company at 394.41 million ringgit.